Hey everyone, what's up? I hope you're doing well. So a crap ton has happened with SafuuGo in the last few weeks to pretty much almost destroy the project. And Bryan has again decided to hand back the reins of control of the direction of SafuuGo back to the council. And also he disappeared for a little bit, but now he's back. It's really just a big mess. And I'm gonna try to explain to you how we got to this point, including what may happen in the future. And also I'm gonna go over Bryan's tweet that he left for his reasons of why he decided to resign. Now, there's no doubt that the Safuu ecosystem is in a bit of turmoil right now, but I really do hope that the project does survive because it's for all of us. Like me and you, we've all been in this roller coaster together and we have been battered and bruised, and some of us have even had our limbs broken. But regardless of what you think about this project, I really hope it does survive. And if you're not familiar what happened, then I'll do my best to bring you up to speed really quickly. So basically the launch of SafuuGo was a bit of a disaster because there was a routing problem within PancakeSwap, which means that you could buy the token, but you couldn't actually sell the token, which is why you see this stupidly big mega godlike candle. Also, someone managed to buy 42% of the total supply because no limits were actually set on how much you could buy. And issues actually continued when you could start selling because people started to set up bots to start to make a crap ton of money. Also, people claimed that there were issues with the code and the contracts, but the devs do dispute this. And people were also thinking that because the initial swap was only between Safuu and SafuuGo, Bryan actually did this because he wanted to pump the price of Safuu so his inner circle could benefit from it. Now, I don't know if this is true and there's no evidence of this, but it did add to basically the level of tension and people just getting annoyed even more. And there was also a bit later on after the launch, the issues of some bad or fake announcements that Bryan did, which caused a lot of people to actually sell off their token, completely crashing the price. And people who didn't know about this were just left with a load of worthless tokens. So people actually lost a crap ton of money during this time, and rightfully so. They are really pissed off. Bryan tried to fix this later and went on to suggest that he's going to create a new token called YOMP, which I can't remember what it stands for, and you could swap one YOMP for one SafuuGo. But the issue was that the launch price of YOMP was so high that there wouldn't have been enough liquidity. And in my opinion, I think he set it that high because he wanted people to go out and buy SafuuGo so they could swap it for YOMP, therefore increasing the price of SafuuGo and trying to fix that just like he did before with the price of Safuu when it swapped with SafuuGo. But he later decided to change the price, and he also changed the tokenomics, and now YOMP isn't even a thing anyway. And he's also decided to relinquish the contract to the SafuuGo community, and basically this is where we're at right now, waiting to see what happens. And so obviously there's a lot of people that don't actually trust Bryan anymore and basically feel that he's given the middle finger to the community. I wasn't there when he did his announcement in the Discord before he shut it down, so I'm not exactly sure what he said. And for a short period of time, his Twitter was shut down as well. But now his Twitter's back and he's actually tweeted about why he did what he did. So this is his tweet from about 6 hours ago, and he said, "I just want to reiterate that SGO was never a scam nor a rug. I was never a scammer, nor did I have any intention to scam anybody. The past weeks I've been going through mental struggles, and evidence of this was seen in my SGO announcements through wishy-washy behavior. It was only right and the best move for me to resign and to sacrifice myself for the greater good of Vulcan and the community I built. This was the only way Vulcan could have legs to succeed and prosper without the negative stigma attached to my name from past crypto project failures. Could I have done things better and resigned with a more softened approach? Yes. In hindsight, I was emotionally compromised and did things in haste, but the only way to make everything work for me was to be seen as the bad guy in order to give the true leg up to the community. I have sacrificed myself for the greater good. Please realize this. I will be stepping away from crypto for a while now whilst I regain my mental sanity. Thank you to all who have been on my side and know my heart is in a good place." And there's a lot of tweets and replies in support of this, and I'm fully aware of mental health issues as well because I have gone through that in my past. And in fact, I do have another YouTube channel where I've done hundreds of videos about mental health, and I did used to coach people through their mental health issues. So I really do hope that if Bryan is going through anything, then he can go and get the help that he needs to recover and to get him back to where he gets to. And I do really mean that. But if you do look at this tweet, there is a little bit of victimhood and there's a little bit of ego in there, saying stuff like, I have sacrificed myself for the greater good and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and la 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 la, like it shouldn't be about him. I get that he's explaining what happened, but he should be talking about the investors, I think, rather than playing the victim. And look, I get it that humans are emotional and we all make mistakes, and it's really good that he's actually done this and he hasn't just stayed silent like David Moss with Strongblock, and a lot of people still don't trust him and don't like him. So at least he is communicating and he's trying to be open and transparent, and I don't think that this was malicious, and I don't think obviously he intended for any of this to happen, but unfortunately it all has happened. And as him being the CEO of Safuu, basically the buck stops with him, and the right thing to do is to resign and to get out of there, even though it's a product that he has built. So basically, as it stands right now, there is a new and a raw Discord set up. Vulcan is still chugging along, and people are just sort of pissed off or dumbfounded or just wanting to basically move on. And as for all the Safuu we sacrificed for for the Vulcan blockchain, I'm basically assuming that that's all just still okay because that is all on the blockchain and it is in the contract, and there's no word to suggest that anything is wrong with that. And it's a shame as well because Safuu was such a big name in DeFi, and whether you loved or hated Bryan, you've got to admit he was a really good marketer and he knew how to build a community. And the community is incredibly strong, which is why this project is still going. And total kudos and credit to the council members in the new Discord as well, who are basically saying, look guys, we know this happened, it does suck, but let's move on, let's try and look towards the future, let's try and build this back to how we want it to be, let's look towards the positive rather than dwelling on everything that's just recently happened. And look, I'm not defending Bryan's actions in any way, and clearly he's admitted that he should have done things better, and people are left without their money, and that's awful, just because of some wishy-washy mental health space thing that he was going through. It's like, don't invest with emotion, and also don't do Discord announcements with emotion either, because basically the same thing's going to happen, and this is evidence of that. So, I hope that it does work, and I hope that we all can get through it somehow, and, it's in the hands of the council and the DAO, so hopefully that will happen. So it is good that Bryan is distancing himself from Vulcan and SafuuGo, so they can just stand on their own legs and just to start to be their own project in their own right. And obviously it's pretty clear that Bryan's not going to be doing a crypto project anytime soon, at least not publicly. And so when any major announcements do come out, I will do another video, and I'm just really curious to know, what do you think about this situation? Leave a comment and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.